The massive starship Horizon drifted silently through the dark expanse of space, its metal hull gleaming under distant starlight. Captain J. Park sat in his command chair, fingers tapping nervously against the control panel. Something felt different about this mission, a tension that couldn't be explained by routine space exploration. Suddenly, the ship's proximity alert screamed to life. A massive alien vessel appeared without warning, its design unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Sleek and silvery with strange curved edges that seemed to bend light itself, the ship approached with calculated precision. Jay's communication officer, Elena Rodriguez, turned with wide eyes. "Captain, they're sending a transmission." The alien message came through in perfect, crisp English. "Human vessel. Prepare for immediate inspection and cultural exchange protocol." Before anyone could respond, a transport beam began to materialize in the central command area. Jay's hand instinctively moved to his sidearm, but protocol demanded patience. The beam resolved into a tall, slender figure, unmistakably alien, but humanoid enough to be unsettling. The alien was female, dressed in a shimmering adaptive suit that seemed to change colors with her slightest movement. Her skin had a pale blue tint, with intricate silver markings that looked like living circuitry. Large almond-shaped eyes studied the human crew with intense curiosity. "I am Aria," she announced, her voice melodic yet precise. "Representative of the Chiral Collective." Jay stood maintaining a professional stance. "Captain J. Park, we weren't expecting visitors this far from charted space." What happened next occurred in a split second. A sudden power surge caused the ship's emergency maintenance hatch to malfunction. As emergency protocols engaged, the hatch partially opened, and Aria's protective suit momentarily flickered. For just a moment, no more than 2 heartbeats, she was exposed. The reaction was immediate and unexpected. Aria's entire demeanor changed. Her calm, diplomatic stance transformed into something between panic and rage. Her silver markings began to pulse with an angry red light. "You have seen," she declared, her voice now sharp and dangerous. "You have witnessed the unwitnessable." The human crew looked confused. Eleanor leaned close to Jay and whispered, "What just happened?" Aria stepped forward, her hand raising some kind of communication device. "By the sacred laws of the Chiral Collective, you are now bound to me. There are only 2 paths forward, marriage or execution." Jay blinked. "I'm sorry, did you say marriage?" The alien's response was deadly serious. Her species had complex cultural laws that humans were about to learn, the hard way. An accidental glimpse of her unprotected form during a specific ceremonial state was considered the gravest of violations. The ship's computer began translating additional context. Complex alien legal codes scrolled across secondary screens, revealing a bizarre set of cultural mandates that would forever change humanity's understanding of interstellar diplomacy. J. Park realized his routine mapping mission had just become something entirely different. One accidental moment had transformed everything. The Chiral representative waited, her hand still raised, her eyes locked onto Jay with an intensity that suggested there would be no negotiation. Outside the ships, massive window stars continued their silent dance, oblivious to the strange drama unfolding inside the horizon. Distant galaxies swirled, cosmic events continued their timeless progression, and one human captain stood facing an alien ultimatum that would rewrite everything he understood about first contact, marriage or death. Those were the only options, and his adventure was just beginning. The ship's internal systems hummed, waiting for Captain Park's next move. Aria's silver markings continued to pulse, a living reminder of the cultural collision about to unfold. One moment, one accidental glimpse, an entire universe of consequences. The conference room aboard the Horizon transformed into a tense diplomatic arena. J. Park sat on one side of the long metal table, with Aria standing rigidly on the other. Human diplomats and ship's crew watched, in stunned silence. "Let me understand this correctly," Jay said slowly. "Because I accidentally saw you during some kind of protective suit malfunction, I must marry you." Aria's silver markings shifted color, a sign the crew was learning meant deep emotional response. "It is not a choice. It is law. The most Sacred law of the Chiral Collective. Elena Rodriguez, the communication officer, tried to intervene. Surely there's another solution. This sounds like an extreme cultural misunderstanding. The alien's eyes flashed. Misunderstanding? No, this is absolute. In our culture, to see the unviewable means total commitment. Your captain has two choices: formal marriage ceremony or joint execution. The ship's senior medical officer, Dr. Kim, stepped forward. Execution seems excessive. Arya produced a holographic display showing complex legal text. Intricate symbols and alien script swirled, demonstrating the depth of their cultural mandate. The translation scrolled in real time, revealing layers of complex social rules that made no sense to human understanding. Our laws protect individual honor, Arya explained. Exposure means total vulnerability. The only way to restore balance is complete social integration or permanent removal of both parties who witnessed the breach. Jay realized this was no joke. The Chiral Collective's technological capabilities far exceeded human understanding. Their ships could obliterate entire planetary systems. This wasn't a negotiation. It was a mandatory cultural protocol. How long? Do we have to decide? Jay asked. 48 standard planetary cycles, Arya responded. After that, our fleet will arrive to enforce the mandate. The room went silent. 48 hours to either marry an alien he had just met or face potential destruction. The diplomatic implications were massive. Earth's first serious alien contact might result from the most bizarre circumstances imaginable. Elena whispered to Jay, "What do we do?" Arya watched them, her silver markings now displaying a complex pattern that seemed to suggest both warning and curiosity. She wasn't angry. She was following a script written into her species' most fundamental cultural DNA. Dr. Kim reviewed the holographic data. These legal codes are incredibly complex. It's like their entire social structure is built around preventing accidental exposure. The ship's computer began analyzing the Chiral legal text. Complex algorithms tried to decode the intricate social rules that seemed completely alien to human understanding. Jay realized he was facing a choice that would change everything. Marry an alien he barely knew, or risk potential interstellar conflict. The fate of potentially millions rested on his next decision. Arya waited. Her posture suggested she found humans fascinating but ultimately predictable. To her, this was a standard legal procedure. To the humans, it was a potential nightmare. "I need more information," Jay said finally. "About your people, about this law." Arya's markings shifted to a soft blue. "Acceptable, we will discuss. But remember, the clock is running." Outside the conference room, the horizon continued its journey through the silent darkness of space. Stars moved past the windows, indifferent to the strange drama unfolding inside the ship. One accidental moment, one cultural misunderstanding, the potential beginning of humanity's most complicated first contact scenario. Jay Park took a deep breath. His next words would determine everything. The universe waited. The training room became a strange battlefield of cultural understanding. Jay Park and Arya stood facing each other, separated by a holographic training mat that flickered with strange, alien symbols. "Your combat techniques are primitive," Arya commented, her silver markings shifting to a challenging golden color. Jay raised an eyebrow. "We've managed to survive several thousand years of conflict. I wouldn't call that primitive." Their training sessions had become something more than just preparation. They were learning about each other, two representatives of completely different civilizations forced into an impossible situation. A massive holographic display showed an approaching threat. Strange ship signatures that neither human nor Chiral technology could fully identify were moving through distant star systems. Red warning markers indicated potential galactic conflict. "Those vessels," Arya pointed, "represent a greater danger than our current arrangement." Jay understood immediately. Their forced partnership might be the only thing standing between multiple civilizations and total destruction. The ship's computer analyzed their combined tactical data. Surprisingly, their different approach to problem-solving created a unique strategic advantage. Where human tactics relied on direct confrontation, Kirill's strategies involved complex psychological manipulation and advanced predictive modeling. "We are stronger together," Arya stated, not as a romantic declaration but a pure tactical assessment. Their training continued. Jay learned Kirill combat techniques, movements that seemed more like complex dance than fighting. Arya studied human military strategies, fascinated by their ability to adapt quickly. Dr. Kim watched from her observation area, taking detailed notes. The medical team was equally fascinated by their physiological responses. Despite being from different species, they were developing a strange synchronization. An alarm suddenly blared. The holographic display showed multiple unknown vessels entering their sector. The threat was real and immediate. "Defensive pattern Delta," Jay called out. "Negative," Arya countered. "Approach requires Kirill Maneuver 7. For a moment, tension crackled between them. Then something unexpected happened. They moved together, combining human aggression with Kirill precision. The unknown vessels scattered, overwhelmed by their coordinated attack. "Interesting," Arya said, her markings now displaying a complex pattern of blue and silver. "We complement each other." Jay realized they were no longer just forced partners. They were becoming something more, a strategic unit that could potentially change galactic dynamics. Outside the ship's massive windows, stars continued their silent journey. Distant galaxies swirled, unaware that a strange partnership was forming, one that might determine the fate of entire civilizations. Their 48-hour deadline was ticking. But something had changed. What started as a bizarre cultural mandate was transforming into something neither of them expected, a real partnership. The horizon moved silently through space, carrying two beings from different worlds, united by circumstance, bound by an unexpected connection. The universe watched and waited. The massive holographic display showed a terrifying reality. Unknown vessels were converging from multiple star systems, their designs unlike anything humans or Kirill had ever encountered. "They're called the Void Collective," Arya explained, her silver markings turning a deep warning red. "Her civilization that consumes other species' technologies and cultures." Jay studied the approaching threat. These weren't simple invaders. They were technological parasites that absorbed entire civilizations. Millions of worlds had already been erased from existence. The horizon's communication systems crackled with intercepted transmissions. Strange mathematical codes and fragments of alien languages revealed a horrifying truth. The Void Collective was hunting both human and Kirill territories. "We have two choices," Jay said, examining the tactical display. "Unite or be destroyed." Arya's markings flickered, a sign of deep consideration. Their forced partnership was no longer about a cultural misunderstanding. It was about survival. Elena Rodriguez tracked the incoming signals. "They're using some kind of quantum communication. Our systems can barely read their approach." Dr. Kim discovered something unexpected. The Void Collective's technology worked like a massive neural network. Each ship connected like brain cells, sharing information instantly. Traditional warfare strategies would be useless. "We need a combined approach," Arya stated. Her hand touched a complex communication device, instantly connecting with Kirill's strategic centers, millions of light years away. Jay realized their marriage mandate had become something more. They weren't just cultural representatives. They were potential saviors of multiple civilizations. The first wave of Void Collective ships approached. Their design was nightmarish, metallic structures that seemed to shift and change, absorbing surrounding space like living shadows. "Prepare defensive pattern Sigma," Jay commanded. "Negative," Arya countered. "We use Kirill Quantum Disruption Protocol." Their combined strategy worked perfectly. Where human aggression met Kirill precision, the Void Collective ships encountered something they couldn't predict or consume. One by one, the threatening vessels began to disintegrate. "Interesting," Arya said, her markings displaying a complex victory pattern. "Humans are more adaptable than our initial reports suggested." Jay watched as entire squadrons of alien invaders were systematically destroyed. Their forced partnership had become a weapon more powerful than any single civilization could imagine. Outside the ship's windows, stars continued their silent dance. Distant galaxies swirled, unaware that a small human Chiral team had just prevented a massive galactic threat. The horizon moved silently, carrying the promise of a new understanding between species. What began as a bizarre cultural misunderstanding was transforming into something revolutionary, a true partnership. The universe watched and waited, holding its breath. The ceremonial hall was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Holographic displays danced with complex Chiral cultural symbols representing thousands of years of tradition. J. Park stood at the center, wearing a hybrid uniform that merged human and Chiral design. Arya approached, her silver markings now displaying a soft, celebratory pattern. What had started as a forced cultural mandate had become something entirely unexpected. Diplomatic. Representatives from multiple star systems watched. This wasn't just a marriage ceremony, it was a turning point in galactic history. By preventing the Void Collective's invasion, a senior Chiral elder announced, "You have proven that different species can truly unite." The ceremony combined human and Chiral traditions, complex ritual movements mixed with simple spoken promises. Elena Rodriguez recorded every moment, knowing this would be studied for generations. Dr. Kim analyzed their biological responses. Surprisingly, Jay and Arya showed remarkable compatibility, not just culturally, but on a physiological level that no one had predicted. "Our union represents more than a personal commitment," Arya stated. Her voice carried across the ceremonial space. "It represents hope for multiple civilizations." Holographic displays showed the strategic impact of their partnership. Territories that were once isolated now formed complex collaborative networks. Trade routes opened, scientific exchanges began. The Horizon, their original ship, had become a symbol of this new understanding. Its design now incorporated both human and Chiral technologies, a living representation of their partnership. "We are stronger together," Jay said, repeating the phrase Arya had first spoken during their training sessions. The ceremony concluded with a complex light display. Chiral rituals merged with human traditions, creating something entirely new. Representatives from dozens of species watched in silent respect. Outside the ceremonial hall, stars continued their eternal dance. Distant galaxies swirled, witnessing a moment that would change everything. What had begun as an accidental glimpse, a bizarre cultural mandate, had transformed into a partnership that would reshape galactic understanding. Jay and Arya stood together, looking out at the vast universe. Their markings, his human insignia, her Chiral silver patterns, told a story of unexpected connection. The universe watched and waited. A new horizon had begun.